guys, another day, another video. Oh my gosh, I hate it when these things stick out. But today we're doing this little thing I'm calling like a study crawl weekend type of thing. So basically I'm gonna be like nonstop studying because my finals are next week, and guys, I'm stressed. So I decided to take you guys along with me to show you how I study, and also just talk about like methods of studying and like my voiceovers and how I stay a straight A student, because I might be a fun 365 party girl, but I also 365 study. Because I don't know what I want to do with my life after I graduate university. So gotta keep them grades up, guys. So if you want to see that and more videos like this, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram and TikTok. It's at What's in Leo's Closet. Follow the business account. It's at Leo's Closet Y2K, because before I leave for London, everything's gonna be like $20 and under. So guys, it's going to be a fun time over there. But I'm going to go get pho before I go and study, because I'm probably going to be studying until late. So we got to get fed. See you there. Okay guys, I'm walking to campus. Overstimulated. I hate it here. But I'll see you when I don't know where I'm going to be. I might do the library today. Or maybe we'll do SLC, then library. I don't know. It's up to the gods. Okay. So I think I'm gonna do library 7th floor, because it's my favorite library floor, because I like the light things, but we have to be quiet, so I'll see what's up there. I don't know where I put my mics, guys, so I'm sorry if the audio isn't the best, but we actually ended up moving location shortly after this because I forgot I booked a room in the SLC. So we only stayed here for about like 30 minutes, but once we're in the SLC, I'll start teaching you guys a lot about like my study tips and all that, because I am a straight A student. The lowest mark I've gotten in university is a B+. So, and there's not a lot of those on my transcripts, guys, because I work very hard for the grades that I get, because I don't know what I want to do post-grad, so I try to have the highest grades possible to maximize my opportunities after I graduate. Yeah. Guys, I forgot I booked an SLC room until I checked my email, so I'm going to my SLC room. Okay guys, I made it, but we're on the quiet floor. I wanted it for the whiteboard, but I'm still finishing up my cue cards, so TBD if we'll use the whiteboard. So my top 3 ways to study and just be the best absolute student you're gonna be is never gonna be through reading your notes. I'm never gonna tell you just read your notes, that's good, because that doesn't do anything. So number 1, I write out cue cards. I prefer to have physical cue cards, but you can also do them on like apps like Quizlet and use GoodNotes, because I think GoodNotes has like a flashcard feature, but always write stuff out. That like again, this has just been like statistically proven and like scientifically proven or whatever, that writing things out helps your memory. It's one of the better ways to do that, but the best way to study is actually through quizzing yourself, and just keep quizzing yourself consistently. So I treat writing my cue cards as number 1 as studying, but also just constantly quizzing myself. And this is also why I will also use practice questions from from the readings, from my textbook, from the PowerPoint slides, to like work on creating questions so I can quiz myself the best. And that's always going to be so fun and fresh. It's just that motion of writing it out. It really just makes you, number 1, reread stuff, but also digest what you are writing out. And also, if you have, like, a class where, like, there's, like, you don't know what to ask yourself, like, that's my women in comparative politics class, I will always refer back to the PowerPoints, because professors and teachers just tend to put questions in their slides, and especially those key takeaway questions. I use those all the time to see if I actually know what I studied. So at the end of my study session, I will look at those like key questions and ask them to myself and see if I can actually provide evidence and back things up from what I learned or what I already know, and how I can expand on that a lot further. But yeah, that's like one of like my key tips. I do that all the time, and I've done that more and more and more as I'm like getting more into my university degree, because asking yourself questions and really thinking critically is how you are going to like retain that information. I promise you. Okay guys, so I've been working on my cue cards for women in comparative politics for like days now. My final is on Wednesday, and I'm still not done. There was
a lot, and I still haven't even gotten through all the questions in the slides. I've actually only started on one of the PowerPoints. There's only three, but you have to like go digging through your readings for them. This is a stack for Women in Comparative, and this is my stack for US politics. I just need to go through the final, like the last chapter to look at some case studies, because it's about the judiciary. But we have to move SLC rooms because I booked a different one, and I'm pretty sure someone else has this one booked, so it can't stay here. But I want to hopefully get all my cue cards done today, so tomorrow can be like real, like we're gonna look through all of this studying. And then these are all my questions for my professor because I have an office hour appointment on Monday. Yeah, let me pack up and I am gonna head to my next SLC room. I forgot that I didn't book my other SLC room until 4. It's 3 o'clock, so we're in another one that's empty, but someone has a booking here at 3:30. But it's fine. I'll use it for now.
Okay, so I told you guys I have like three main things that I do, but there's so much more that I do with studying. So number one is always writing stuff out. Number two is the cue cards, and number three is just info dumping. I'm gonna get into info dumping a little bit later because I forget how many things I do. Other things I do, as you saw, is I write down the questions I have for my professor. I like to book an office hour appointment or talk to my professor the week of the final. I do this for almost all of my finals, basically, unless yeah, I don't think there's a case where I don't do that. And this is because this is after I've already gone through all the content multiple times and have tried to like wrap my head around it. And if I don't get it, I don't get it, and that's fine. And that's why our professors are there. And that's why I like to do that the week of like the final. So not like the day of. I like to do it 2, 3, 4 days before usually, to really like get into my prof's brain because these are things I don't get and it's something I need some more clarification on. So always book those office hour appointments.
I just switched SLC rooms. Like right now, I also decided to do a little bit of a story still. Because I need to get rid of like so much stuff before I head to London. So after like my finals are over this week, I'm grinding on just like selling a bunch of my stuff. So I'm gonna be selling some of my Juicy collection, unfortunately. But we gotta do what we gotta do while in London. But I think I'm gonna mostly focus on doing my cue cards. I technically have a bit more of like actually writing them out, but I think I'm gonna practice them mostly because my hand is like cramping from writing. And then I think I want to use the whiteboard to just start info dumping. But you know, I'll keep you posted.
Now we're getting into like the actual like quizzing myself portion. I try to make two different piles. I make a know and I make a don't know pile. This is because I don't want to keep questioning or asking myself the questions that are in my know pile because I know them and I want to really focus my time in on the questions that I don't know. And this is also why I actually have color coordinated cue cards because I every single color is a different chapter. And this is because I need to know what chapters I need to focus the most on. So for example, you won't see this now because like I didn't know a lot of the content, but later in on my studying, like during the week, because my finals are over, I noticed that the chapters I was really struggling for were with the chapter on the US bureaucracy and the US judiciary. This means that outside of doing my cue cards, I would go back and look at the chapter, read really important sections again, digest it, look at those PowerPoints again, digest that information because by looking and like having these like color coordinated sections, it lets you know like what the gaps really are in your knowledge. And it's why I'll go over, reread it. Sometimes I will, so like in the chapter, sometimes it'll have these like critical thinking zones and it'll ask you questions about thinking critically and just answering those questions and like not only like writing the question down but answering the question, looking through the textbook again to find the answers for those questions. Like that process of going through it and actively looking for that knowledge is so helpful because literally now like I have so much like stuff ingrained. Like one of the questions that I wanted to answer is like what's the Whig theory versus the stewardship theory for the US presidency. Now because that was in the critical thinking zone and I went and answered that question so many times from looking at the textbook, referring back to the textbook. Like, now I actually know what it is, and it really does help out so often. And sometimes you can feel super unmotivated because you're asking yourself these questions and you feel like you're not getting places. But the more and more you do them, the more and more confident you will become in answering these questions and really knowing the content. So, like, today, like, for example, like this, like, you'll see, like, my pile is super stark, but it does like dwindle down. And by the end of like my study session, I'm pretty sure I knew about like confidently I knew 70% of the content. The other 30% was stuff I knew but couldn't remember off the bat, and that is fine. We're just trying to learn as much as we can. It doesn't matter if we know everything, because like even if you get a 50% on an exam, you knew 50% of the content. Put everything into perspective.
Guys, it's rough out here. This is what I know. This is what I don't know. My final's on Tuesday. It is Saturday. Maybe I'll take the day off work because I am not confident this time around. I've been really stressed. But this is proof that quizzing yourself works, because this is the amount that I had the first time I did my cue cards. And we've done actually like more the second time around. So now this is all the cue cards that I know. And I actually have some from chapter 4. Yeah, but there's still a lot that we don't know, but quizzing yourself works. The more I do it, the better I'll get, but I don't want to do this and I really want to go home. I think we'll do women in comparative politics one more time, and then we'll go get something to eat, and then I'm gonna head home. And I'll probably keep studying at home, but I won't show you guys.
One other little random tip is that you should not study at home. Always study somewhere else that is outside of like your normal, regular environment, because when I'm at home, I could do anything else but study. But when I force myself to get up and go to campus, it's like, no, like you have nothing else to do. You have to study, because why am I going to be on my phone on campus? No, you're going to study.
I think I've hit a stump today. For now, I didn't end up getting that many. I know a lot of the concepts for women in comparative politics, but it's an essay style final where I have to write 3 short essays. So I just need to understand these concepts. Yeah, but I'm gonna head out and I'm probably gonna run over cue cards when I'm home, but I will see you guys tomorrow. Back again here.
It's day 2 of our study crawl. As I was saying, it's day 2 of our study crawl. It's like 1:15-ish. I'm headed up to in the SLC. See you soon. In the SLC, yeah, as I was saying, oh my god, my hair looks a mess. Guys, I'm actually really stressed about these finals. I feel like I don't know a lot of the content, and that's because I studied super late, because I'm dealing with a bunch of personal stuff. So we got a grind today and tomorrow for this US politics class. I think I want to start off by info dumping on both my classes. I know I don't know a lot, but I think it'll make me feel better just to know that I at least know something and I'm not a complete dummy. But I'm gonna just eat my pork gyoza, and I will check back in soon. Finished eating. Let's get into this study sesh. Now we're getting into my literal, like one of my probably favorite ways to like study, and that's info dumping. And that is why I love the SLC, because they have the whiteboards where I can just do it on the whiteboard, and I love doing it, but I'm not going to get too into it right now because I'm coming up again real soon because I decided I needed to yap again, but we'll get back to this info dump real soon. That is what we have so far. It's not very good, but it's fine. It's a start and gets us into a groove. I do need to focus a bit more on US politics today because that is the first final I have and I haven't done like as much for US politics, so Okay, guys, now I'm going to get into what I mean when I say info dumping. So it's literally just dumping out. It's like, imagine if you were to vomit all the information you know about a topic onto something. It's literally that, but essentially me writing everything out on the whiteboard. This is just like anything I might know, any minor detail, any major detail, major concepts, writing out like key things about those major concepts. I love doing that. I hate that the SLC rooms, not all of them have two different marker colors, because what I like to do is write what I know in one color and then fill the gaps in with another color. It really helps out to see where my gaps are in my knowledge and what I need to be focusing on. Info dumping is also just a great way to just make yourself feel a little bit better, because I know sometimes we can get really discouraged when we study and feel like we don't know anything, and that's why I love to info dump, because it like visually shows me that I do know stuff, that I am smart, that I am getting better. And the more I info dump, so I will do one session and then I'll do another one usually by the end of my study session, or I'll change it up a little bit. But as long as I have added on to what I already knew, that is always progress. Even if it's not a lot, that is still progress that is being made. And it's why I love this method of studying, because it's like, yeah, you know that, but are you able to actually like explain that? And the way you explain it is obviously through writing. Another really good way of info dumping is just explaining a concept to your friends. I do this all the time throughout the semester when I'm learning really interesting stuff in class, and I will literally like tell my friends, hey guys, look what I learned in class. And I will literally like tell them what I learned in class and see if I can actually explain it. So fun, so easy, so fun.
Okay, gang. So, as you know, made more cue cards, but I've gone over my cue cards for the first time today. And remember how tiny the sliver yesterday was for the stuff I knew? This, we know so much more, which is proof that quizzing yourself works. So I'd say I'm about like 40% no, which is really good. So yeah, I need to do some women and comparative politics stuff though, because I need to really understand these concepts, because it's an essay style. Fine. So
Yeah, I think I might have some pictures actually of what my info dump looked at the start, so over there, and by the end, which was on, I think, Tuesday night or maybe like Wednesday morning. So I'm gonna put the pictures up right now to show you guys kind of that contrast of like how info dumping just really works. It's genuinely it's not only like fun, I love writing on a whiteboard, but it's also very engaging, and I like to reference my notes and then look back at everything. It's just super good. And again, it's also that writing things out over and over again. It does help. I wouldn't say like writing stuff out is like the best method. Quizzing yourself's the best method, period. But the writing out of stuff really helps out, because it's just that repetition, that like really gets you in the flow or whatever. So it's why I love it. But yeah, it's also why I say, guys, info dump on your friends. They're right there. They are so easily accessible, and of course they want to help you out. Why wouldn't they?
Okay, so feeling less and less optimistic about women and comparative politics as we go on. So I think what I want to do is look at the questions that my prof provided us. Not create cue cards today. I think I'm going to do that tomorrow. My hands just hurt a little bit. And just kind of answer the questions on the whiteboard as best as I can. I'm just trying to provide you with my study tips. Feeling not so motivated, even though I know the content, I just can't remember stuff right now. But again, it's a part of the study process. My aim, I think, for the final is 80. Hopefully I can do better than that, but if not, it's fine. Currently, I feel like I'm gonna get a 60, but it's fine. So it's whiteboard time.
And when I used the whiteboard this time, I instead looked at the questions that were in the PowerPoint and tried to answer them to the best of my ability. Just because, again, guys, as you can see, I was feeling pretty unmotivated, and this is normal. It's fine. A lot of us do tend to feel unmotivated, but it's what you do with that, like, lack of motivation that like really shows that like you're in this like to do it and to get a good grade because you want to know the content and stuff. Like it's really important because I just wasn't really like, I wasn't feeling it really, and it's why I stopped doing the cue cards, because I felt like in that moment the cue cards weren't good for me and I needed to get up, I needed to move. That's why I get the chair, and that like just writing it on a whiteboard can sometimes just make you feel like a little bit better, especially if you've been like sat in like the same spot for like hours and hours and hours. Like I have a horrible habit of like saying I'm gonna lock in, and no, like I'm very ADHD where I will lock in and hyperfixate for hours and not move from one spot because I've set this like weird goal in my mind that I need to do all of this before I can like even go to the washroom, which like it's a really bad habit and I'm trying to like get out of it. But sometimes you just need to like move around a little bit. And also, guys, if you have ADHD, it's okay to pee. It's okay to get up and go pee. Like it's like so bad where I'm like I'll sit there and I'll study for like hours on end without like going to the washroom, and then I'm like, oh my God. And then I'm like done studying and I like run to the washroom because I have to pee so badly. So, like, just know, like, guys, it's okay to take breaks. Like, it's fine. And sometimes you need those breaks so you can come back into it with a clear mind. I just get so stressed, so overwhelmed so easily where I need to constantly remind myself of that all the time.
Okay, gang, I've done a lot. I think I'm slowly grasping my readings a little bit more through looking at the questions in like my PowerPoint slides from my prof. So I think we're getting somewhere, definitely. I was referencing a lot of this stuff in there, and I think I'm starting to grasp it more. The thing is, like, I know these ideas and I know why things happen, but I can't like explain them, which is the problem in an essay style final, but it's fine because I prefer essay style questions. But this is kind of what we've got so far. The SLC rooms close at 7 though, and it's like 6:28. So I do want to head out of here and just kind of go home. And I think I'm gonna review key cards and review my textbooks when I get home, because I just need to reread concepts and just like grasp them a little bit more. Because obviously questioning yourself is good and asking yourself questions, writing stuff out always works. But sometimes you just gotta reread. So yeah. Overall though, this is gonna be the end of the video because this is me essentially being done studying for like this. So I hope I motivated y'all a little bit to study for finals. I hate that my finals are so early in the semester, because it doesn't give me enough time to study, which sucks, especially when you have life going on. But hope y'all enjoyed. This is it for me. I am trying to upload again more consistently. My mental health's just kind of taken a toll. I'm dealing with a lot. So my uploads are coming like as is and as I'm kind of trying to do my best to succeed. Sorry, this got stuck. But I love you guys so much. I will see you soon, hopefully. Actually, I think my next upload is actually going to be my fashion assignment. So enjoy that. I will see you guys in the next one.